and he's no longer going to allow the United States of America to be a dumping ground for illegal immigrants and for illegal drugs that are killing our nation's people. This is the #1 leading cause of death in our country, and there needs to be action taken to ensure that cannot continue.
Fentanyl is #1 cause of death in young Americans. Not only for young Americans, but this is a serious issue for all Americans. 175 people die every day from fentanyl poisoning, and what's really scary is that this number is constantly increasing. Isn't this graph terrifying? 73,000 people die in a year, and I guarantee you 99.99999% of these deaths are from illegal fentanyl use. Actually, hospitals use fentanyl a lot, especially for severe pain after surgery or for cancer patients. Cancer pain is incredibly intense. It's totally different level of the pain from saying your back pain is 10 out of 10. People who are in so much pain that they feel like they're dying, they don't develop addiction even when using narcotic painkillers. The typical dosage is 12 microgram per hour, designed to be absorbed through the skin, and one patch can last for 3 days. People who are not familiar with this patch, it might just feel like they put on something like icy hot. These patches release the fentanyl very slowly, so these are not for sudden acute pain. For severe sudden pain, there's a thing called actic, which is absorbed quickly through orally. But sometimes cancer patients without spouse or guardians don't know this information, or they are in so much pain that they put 2 or 3 patches, leading to hypoventilation and end up coming into the emergency room. Fentanyl can pass the blood-brain barrier very easily, and its molecular weight is very small. That's why we can take it through the skin too. And it binds very strongly to opioid receptors, the same receptors that drug like morphine attach to. You know, the one you always see in the war movie. The binding is so strong that no substance our body naturally produces can replicate the feeling it gives. So if you use this substance for a long time, the receptors themselves are fundamentally damaged. Because of this, long-term use can make it impossible for a person to feel pleasure in life at all. The extreme result of this would be depression and voluntarily going to heaven. But not being able to feel pleasure or happiness due to fentanyl is like on different level. Since the receptors themselves are also destroyed, you might still feel pain even when the effect of fentanyl wears off. In fact, some people who use fentanyl patches develop conditions like hyperalgesia, increased sensitivity to pain. Anyway, as this progresses, the pleasure we can feel on our own disappears. So patients become dependent on patches. But as I mentioned, it's designed in microgram units, and it's impossible to administer precisely, especially by an individual without proper equipment. Because of this, people end up using increasingly large dose. Let me explain easily why it's so hard to quit. Imagine we are on a bus going somewhere, and suddenly, unexpectedly, our stomach starts to hurt. We try to hold it in, but instinctively, we know something's not right. Our brain focuses with intensity we never imagined, searching for a bathroom nearby. But it seems like we have to wait until the next stop. Why is every minute, every second going by so slow, right? Cold sweat pouring down our backs and our whole body feels chill. Can you imagine it? Diarrhea is about to explode and no bathroom around. In this situation, let me ask you something. Right at this moment, would you notice the most attractive person, the love of your life that you always dream of, standing next to you? Would you notice that? Would you think about the food that you always been craving? This is the state of drug addiction and the state of withdrawal symptom. Basic human instincts like sleep, appetite, and sex all become meaningless. The only thing that matters is the desperate urge to get to the toilet quickly. Just like that, overwhelming needs dominates our entire body, driving us with the superhuman focus from head to toe to find the drug. Okay, so why do people die from fentanyl? This is what's really scary. We are always breathing and cannot stop, right? The reason we breathe is to expel CO2 from our bodies. When carbon dioxide builds up in our body, It's incredibly painful. If we were told to hold our breath, the pain isn't just from the drop in oxygen level. It's more because the carbon dioxide isn't being released, making our body increasingly acidic. If we imagine that our body has a sensor for detecting oxygen and sensor for detecting carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide sensor are much more sensitive. That's what drives us to breathe. But fentanyl suppresses this. In other words, you don't feel the pain of not breathing. Our brain naturally detects carbon dioxide and triggers breathing, but this function weakens. So with repeated exposure to fentanyl, the brain is repeatedly exposed to hypoxia, low oxygen levels, causing permanent damage. In this process, functions like those of frontal lobe, which makes me, are damaged. The only reason for living becomes the stimulation fentanyl provides, and people seek more and more fentanyl. As that happens, the receptor becomes increasingly damaged. This naturally leads to not breathing and eventually death due to the lack of oxygen. Once oxygen level drops below a certain point, the brain damage becomes irreversible. Do teenagers and people in their 20s know this mechanism and proper dosage? Of course not. They just do it because it feels good or that's what the internet or their friends tell them. What's truly terrifying about addiction is that person pours effort searching for fentanyl, focus solely on using fentanyl. So all their energy and time are poured into this. They might have started out of curiosity, but once they become addicted to a certain extent, quitting on their own is incredibly difficult. In such case, there are hospitals that can help, so please don't hesitate to seek help. They're not going to judge you at all. In fact, they will respect you for your willpower and courage to take the right step. The best thing is though is never to start in the first place. Next week, I will tell you how the fentanyl makes people act like zombies. If today's video was helpful, please hit the like and subscribe, and remember, health is wealth, so invest in yourself. This is Dr. Sean, making health easy for you. See you next week.